So there are going to be 3 people in this Spider-Man review this time.
And whose fault is that?
Dan's. Daniel.
It's my fault because I played a game.
Yes.
Yes. Now you have
Precisely.
to suffer the consequences.
Dude, I remember before this game even was announced, there was a rumor going around that Sucker Punch was developing a Spider-Man game. Do you remember those?
I don't remember that was Sucker Punch, but that actually sounds horrible in hindsight.
I mean, Sucker Punch has made some good games, like Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have trusted them to make a game of this quality. But yeah, I remember the rumors. So that's why when they announced it at what show was it that they announced it at?
I think it had to be 2016 E3?
Was it E3?
I think it was E3, because they announced it a couple years before it came out.
Yeah, but I saw the trailer, and the first thing that I was thought is, man, that white spider on his costume was ugly.
You know, I thought that at first too, but I've actually grown to really like it.
Oh yeah, like the advanced suit, as it's called, has grown on me immensely over the years.
Oh yeah.
To the point where it's actually one of my favorite renditions of Spider-Man's costume.
This is one of jumping the gun a little bit. Before we talk about anything else, this is one of my favorite versions of Spider-Man. Period.
I think he's my favorite version now.
Between this or the Spectacular Spider-Man cartoon, those are the 2 best adaptations of the character.
That Spider-Man's really good too.
Yeah. I can't really pick between the 2 of them, but you can't go wrong with either of them.
No, you can't. So I remember when this game was, making its rounds. The last game that had come out was what? Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, what a jump in quality this was.
Oh yeah, watch our last video if you want to know.
Yeah, so you're probably wondering, well, how the heck did Insomniac get their hands on to do the IP for this? Well, after Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out, Marvel pulled the exclusive gaming rights from Activision for the first time in what was it, 15 years?
So it was a while, yeah, because I think starting with Spider-Man.
Because literally every Spider-Man game we had covered was spanning the Activision era. Because Spider-Man 2000 was the first Marvel game that Activision made. Because they also made the X-Men Legends games, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah, Activision had the Marvel rights for games for a while. And it's not. They made some good games. Don't misunderstand. We've covered them, but they started to go down the crapper.
Yeah, because they'd started turning into the modern Activision, which is a joke of a developer now.
So Marvel approached Insomniac to make a game for one of their characters. And in no hesitation, they're like, it's going to be Spider-Man. They immediately picked Spider-Man.
Awesome.
And, I mean, if Marvel said to me, hey, you can make a game for one of our characters, I'd probably pick Spider-Man too, honestly.
Well, when I heard that it was Insomniac doing it, I was like, their most recent game was Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, which
is a game centered around parkour and crazy mobility and everything. And I was like, man, they're gonna nail Spider-Man's traversal system.
For those of you who don't know, Insomniac is most well known probably for Ratchet and Clank.
Really?
If you want to go even further back, Spyro.
Yeah, because they did the original Spyro trilogy, Ratchet and Clank. I think Resistance they did too.
Wow.
I'm not sure if they did Resistance.
I think I'll have to. I'm gonna check while we're thinking about it. But
so Insomniac's been around since the PS1 era.
But I think their most consistent franchise is Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
So they've been around for a while. But if you play video games, you know who Insomniac is.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're a PlayStation. Insomniac did make Resistance, actually.
Yeah.
So especially if you're a PlayStation fan, you know who Insomniac is. So when they were announced,
I guarantee you the reason most people buy a PS4 or a PS5 is because
this. Yeah.
So I'm gonna get to that in a second because I have weird stories about that. So I assumed this was gonna be a good game, right? And I was like, so we're finally gonna get a Spider-Man game in the quality of the Arkham games.
Hey, sorry, I cut out. Do you guys hear me?
No.
Oh. But what I was saying was, I guarantee the reason most people, or some people at least, bought a PS4 or PS5 is because of Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I remember.
that's why I bought it. That's why I bought a PlayStation.
I remember going to my GameStop launch night, and I already had a PS4 because I got it for Arkham Knight all those years ago.
Yeah, I'm
And-
still jealous that you have that PS4. Fuck.
There was the line for those of us who had just pre-ordered the game, and then there was a line for the people who pre-ordered the console bundle. And I swear that line was 30 people long.
It's insane. When the game came out, because I live in North Carolina, and there was a hurricane warning going on when this game launched. So I had to go into
stop me.
So I had to go into work. I was supposed to go into work at 2 or 3. They asked me to come in at 1:30. I was like, I'll make it when I can. So I called my friend up. I was like, hey man, if I cash app you the money, can you pick up the Spider-Man game for me? And he's like, I'll just take you to go get it. I was like, I gotta work in 30 minutes. He's like, I guarantee we can get there and back in 30 minutes. I was like, okay. So went and picked up the game, and it was taunting me because I had to work all day. But I had the game. I had it. I installed it on my lunch break, and then once I got home, I pulled like 4 or 5 all-nighters playing this game.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap! Dan, I think you have a bit of a different story about how you acquired the game. Why don't you tell the audience your story?
So I'm on a vacation with Frankie. Okay. And
We're not getting
all
into
of a
details
sudden,
of that.
all of a sudden, I do not know why, but I just started looking up videos and stuff about the PS5, and I think to myself, oh damn, that looks cool. That looks awesome. And Spider-Man 2 is already on the way for this fall, and I'm thinking, maybe I should get a PlayStation because I want to play this game and not be spoiled. So after a few debates on whether or not to save up for it properly, get it like in the fall or get it a year from now because I can't just impulsively spend a bunch of money like that, I end up getting the PlayStation, the PS5, a month and a half after I started looking it up. Because I thought, why not? I'll have something to do. I'll have something cool to do for the summer. So I bought a PS5, and Spider-Man PS4 was the first game I installed and played. I finished the whole thing like a week, and I never got tired of it. So, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. So, in case you couldn't tell, Dan's a little bit younger than us, but so before we're gonna talk about the plot in a second. Just a couple more things I want to bring up. I remember because I have a lot of friends on Facebook. I saw people that don't normally game talking about this game.
Mhm.
This game was insane. Everybody was talking about it. Everybody was playing it. And this is actually the highest selling game on the PlayStation 4. Which
Deservedly
blows
so.
my mind. He also would like to reiterate that point. As I was saying. And I think Jesus Christ. And I think it's the best-selling superhero game in general.
I
So hard
think
to believe.
so. I think so. Maybe Arkham City would probably be near it, but I've never really looked up the numbers on that. But I assume I assume so because this was basically a console seller in of itself. I don't think Arkham
really was.
Well, Arkham City wasn't either because it was multi-platform.
So none of the Arkham games, I think, except for VR, were console exclusive.
Blackgate.
Oh, Blackgate was also on the Vita.
Wait, was it?
And then it got ported to the actual consoles.
Did it?
Yeah.
I thought it was a 3DS exclusive.
No, it was on Vita, and then it got ported to console.
Oh, well. Who cares? That game stinks anyway. So
I never played it.
It stinks.
So, let's go ahead and talk about the story, because for once we have a plot to cover.
Yeah.
Now, this game, Peter Parker is 23 in this game. So he's been at this for about 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Exactly 8 years.
he has got his craft down, like almost to a T.
Yeah, he's making his own stuff, his own suits, his own web shooters. He's taking down Kingpin like first thing in the morning. So,
Yeah. Something I do like. I like pairing Peter Parker up to the Tom Holland Peter Parker. It's insane. Absolute insanity. The difference of experience between the two.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he takes down the Kingpin pretty quickly. And you're also here introduced to Yuri Watanabe, I think her name is. Yep.
Yeah.
And Peter, he beats Kingpin, but he does take a little bit of damage. So he goes to his actual job, or his one of his jobs, where he works for Dr. Otto Octavius. I think it's an internship.
Yeah.
And they're
No. It was a full-time job.
Oh, was it? I thought it was an internship.
Yeah.
Huh.
Cool.
Well, I guess I'm just wrong. Okay.
What a surprise.
Shut up. So during this, Peter makes himself a new suit, which is because you start with the classic normal Spider-Man suit.
Yeah.
Which you can reapply later if you really want to.
And during this time when he makes his new suit, Dr. Octavius walks in, sees the suit, but thinks that Peter just makes the suits for Spider-Man.
That thinks, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so we as the audience now know that, his identity's kind of in jeopardy because Octavius knows that Peter's making the suit. But we think it's...
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Peter just shrugs it off. He's like, oh, that was a close one.
So during all this, we're also introduced to the Daily Bugle. So we get the podcast from J. Jordan Jameson.
Yeah.
And we also find out about Feast, which is where Aunt May works, and they're helping homeless people. And you meet Martin Lee. We'll come back to him later. So not too long after that, now that Kingpin's been taken out, New York starts getting overrun by a new gang, the Demons.
Yeah.
And when Peter first encounters them, Mary Jane is there. And I think they recently broke up. Like it's been within a couple months.
It's been a year or so.
It's been a little while, but they start working together because Mary Jane can't keep herself out of trouble.
Yeah.
And for a while, you're just kind of dealing with the demons.
Yeah, nobody else really.
Not for a little while, no. But you hear you've heard about he's already defeated Scorpion, Electro, Vulture, Mysterio, Lizard. So he's encountered villains before.
Yeah, all the classic Spidey villains are around. He just beat them up, put them in jail.
And Shocker's there too. But
Yeah.
Shocker's such a joke. Shocker's such a joke character.
Shocker.
Shocker is such a joke character that he's barely worth mentioning.
Yeah.
During trying to get some info on demons, he meets a police officer named Jefferson Davis. and they form an alliance. Jefferson Davis tells Spider-Man how his son's a big fan of his. If you know who Jefferson Davis is, you know exactly who he's talking about.
Mhm.
But
yeah.
so during all this, Jefferson Davis is labeled a hero, and the mayor of New York, who is Norman Osborn, wants to give him a Medal of Honor, and he also, I think, shuts down Octavius's experiments because they're dangerous. We'll get back to that. So during the award ceremony for Jefferson Davis, you find out that Mr. Negative, the head of the demons, is Martin Lee. If you know anything about comic books, you knew that already. But
I did not know about Mr. Negative or Martin Lee at all. So
he's a relatively new Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
So
if you
I
went
don't.
into this game not knowing who he is, I don't blame you because he's not even like 15 years old yet.
No, he came out in like 2007, I think.
Yeah, 2007. So he's a relatively new villain
compared to like the other villains in this game, which we'll get there. So
This-
during this, Miles Morales is there, and he witnesses the death of his father,
Yep.
and that was hard to watch. This game will hit you in the feels.
Mhm.
So Martin Lee's whole thing is he wants to take out Norman Osborn. For what? I'll get there. He wants to just ruin Norman Osborn. And
Yeah.
he's trying to find this substance called Devil's Breath, which I think is supposed to be a vaccine, but if it's reverse engineered, it becomes a fucking bomb or something.
Well, it was meant to be a cure, but it was so unstable that it ends up
Becoming a virus.
Yeah, like it what undoes your DNA or something, like really screwed up.
Yeah, it's
Let's
Peter-
just say it's not kosher.
Peter or Spider-Man forms a bond with Miles and encourages him to go work at Feast to help people because he's down in the dumps about his father, which totally understandable.
Yeah.
But while he's at Feast, he does form a bond with May, Peter, and I believe MJ.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
So, Peter eventually does subdue and defeat Mr. Negative. And then another villain takes over. So, there's a raid on Rikers Island. And I'm doing a very, very fast plot synopsis because there's a lot more we gotta talk about. And if you haven't played this game by now, what the hell are you doing?
It's been 5 years.
Jesus Christ, it has been 5 years. You just played it, shut up.
No, you shut up.
And during this, Mr. Negative, Scorpion, Rhino, Electro, Vulture are all released.
And
And
so
they are
now Peter's going all across the island trying to catch the ball, stop him, but he can't because they all eventually join together and beat the crap out of him.
And they are led by Dr. Otto Octavius, who made a machine, he made the arms because he had a bone degenerative disease, and the machines took over his brain, and he is now Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
I'll
So
admit, Ox, you knew it was going to happen because like the foreshadowing at the beginning of the game was just painfully obvious. But when it did happen, you kind of felt bad because of how they developed Octavius before this.
So, there's a phrase I've heard. I get why you're doing, but you have to understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so now we have this universe's version of the Sinister Six.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
now Spider-Man is systematically taking down the Sinister Six. And he honestly takes them all down pretty freaking easily. And he fights them two at a time.
Yeah. So there's not a whole lot of challenge there.
Because he
It's just
beats
two per time. So yeah.
he beats I think it's Electro and Vulture first, and then it's
Yeah.
Rhino and Scorpion. After a drug trip scene with Scorpion, oh my god!
Yeah, that was some Arkham Asylum Scarecrow level stuff.
And during all of this,
Precisely what I thought about.
Doc Ock released Devil's Breath onto New York. So people are dying and getting sick left and right.
Yeah, it's
And Aunt May gets sick. We'll get to that. So Peter and MJ, throughout the game, we have heard that Harry Osborn was on vacation in Europe, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Jane infiltrates Doc Ock, not Doc. Wow, Norman Osborn's like summer home,
giant New York apartment mansion.
Yeah,
and finds out Harry is not on vacation. He's actually very sick.
He is dying.
Mm-hmm. And we also find out a bit about Mr. Negative, which was, I guess, he was experimented on by Oscorp and turned into this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde monstrosity. Something else you find out, and I missed this, is that Otto has a personal vendetta against Norman because they apparently worked on Oscorp together, and Norman cut
basically screwed him over.
Otto out because Norman Osborn's a dick.
Yeah.
Patrick will explain me. Is Norman Osborn just always a dick?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you've ever seen the '90s animated series or the Raimi trilogy, where Osborn's like a little bit of a doormat, that's not accurate.
So this version's actually more accurate. Okay.
Well, Spectacular, I think, nailed it perfectly. Where it was almost
he's a
like
complete piece of shit in Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah, well, that's the most comic accurate one, where it's almost like the Batman approach, where Norman Osborn's actually the mask and Green Goblin's the real person.
Oh.
That's how screwed up Green Goblin is as a character.
We'll talk about theories.
Yeah.
Toward the end of the video.
Yeah.
But Peter defeats Mr. Negative, and then is just obliterated by Doc Ock. Doc Ock kicks his teeth in.
Yeah.
It was bad, actually. But Peter, being Peter, refuses to give up. And he makes a new suit, which I personally think looks kind of stupid.
It fits for the fight, though, because it's made out of the same material as Ock's arms. I think that's what it's supposed to look like.
And then you have a very, very...
necessarily make the suit look good because it makes sense of the story.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, I understand the story significance, but he just kind of looks like a Kamen Rider to me. But you have a very emotional final battle.
Oh, yeah.
Peter defeats him, and they have this really intense conversation, and it's heartbreaking, man.
And you find out Otto knew Peter was Spider-Man the entire time. He was just like covering.
The fact that he was willing to kill Peter shows he lost his mind.
Yeah.
But Spider-Man's like, you know what? The police will handle you. I'm out. Because Peter's not going to kill the guy.
No.
But, so he goes back to Feast, where this universe's version of Morbius is there.
Yeah, Morgan Michaels.
Yeah. Who, I think he worked on Devil's Breath.
Yeah.
You find out Aunt May is on her deathbed. And, they have the vaccine right there. And Spider-Man, because he's not Peter right now, he's Spider-Man, asks him, what if we use the vaccine to save somebody now? That there won't be enough to cure the others, because they need that vaccine to make more samples to save everybody else. Peter talks to Aunt May, who's known he's Spider-Man the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Tells him how proud she is of him, and how he saved so many people, and he doesn't know what to do. And she's like, yes, you do. Peter goes to give her the vaccine, and cannot bring himself to do it.
Yeah.
And he has to let her die.
I've played and beaten this game about 6 times.
And that scene still
it gets me every goddamn time.
It's just like the Mufasa scene for me. Like, oh my god.
It's rough.
So they eventually do they get enough samples to save everybody. Doc Ock's put in jail. And Peter and Mary Jane get back together. Now there are two credit scenes. In the mid-credit scene, Miles reveals to Peter that he has acquired spider powers because he got bit in Oscorp, or there was a spider that came back with MJ and bit him.
Yeah,
I think it's a little contrived, but whatever.
Well,
But
I didn't really understand.
That is kind of how Miles got his powers in the Ultimate books initially.
Oh, is it?
It's a pretty close adaptation of how he actually.
I don't know. I think it's stupid. The spider's just sitting on Mary Jane's shoulder the whole time, and then just waits to fight Miles.
Yeah, but
it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And at that point, Peter's like, "Hey, guess what? I'm Spider-Man." So,
I know, how convenient that when I get bit by a spider, the dude that I met at my dad's funeral just happened to be the other Spider-Man.
And then we get the tease of all teases. Norman has been trying to find a cure for Harry, so he goes to that lab that Mary Jane raised. And you see this tube with Harry in it with this green slime and something wrapped around it. Norman puts his hand on the tube, and the substance reacts to it.
Oh yeah, we're getting vermin, baby. Let's go.
Vermin, yes!
And the substance is a black goop. I wonder who that could be.
Nickelodeon Gak confirmed.
It's actually it's Bane.
Yeah, it's Bane.
It's cool.
Yeah. But dude, when that scene made me go, whoa!
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Whoa!
Now there is also the DLC portion, The City That Never Sleeps, which, to be quite honest,
I thought the writing was pretty good at the start, and then it just got gradually more weird as they went.
That's exactly what me and him said.
Because this, like the first one with Black Cat, I actually like Black Cat as a character.
Oh
in
yeah,
the comics, and this is one of the best renditions of Felicia Hardy we've ever got.
I really like her character, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, Waka Waka. But this is one of the best renditions of Felicia Hardy we've ever gotten.
But you have this, and it ties into Kingpin, and then Kingpin becomes the Terminator, and like
Hammerhead.
I meant Hammerhead.
Yeah. See, here's my problem.
He gets the weird robot suit, and I do not like it.
Here's the problem I have with what they did with Hammerhead in this game, because they basically merged him with another character that already exists.
Did they actually?
Yeah, because in the comics, there's more than one gang boss that Spider-Man deals with on a constant basis. There's Kingpin, there's Hammerhead, there's Tombstone, who we also meet in this game in a side quest. And then, if you've seen the 90s animated series, you know who Silvermane is.
Yes.
And in the comics, Silvermane gave himself a robot body. Because he was an old man, and he tried to use that as a way to keep himself alive longer.
So why could you have had
when this third DLC case was titled The Silver Lining, that's what everybody thought it was going to be, was Silvermane.
You could have had the first one be about Black Cat, second one about Hammerhead, and the third one be Silvermane.
Yeah. And sometimes Hammerhead and Silvermane work together. Sometimes. So we thought that that's what it was going to be, but no, they brought Silver Sable back, who we didn't bring up in the plot synopsis, but she is kind of important to the story. But
Silver
they
Sable.
Basically merged Hammerhead and Silvermane into one character, and then I don't like it because it doesn't fit Hammerhead.
No, it
I
doesn't.
would
It's
rather have Jay
stupid.
just introduced Silvermane, but
And it just it feels like you're going around your elbow to get to your like. What does it really add other than more screwball?
honestly, I think the
Yeah.
DLC was more. The DLC I think was more to introduce us to Black Cat and to set up the Wraith storyline for Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, that's exactly what
much.
it was. And well, I mean, it does tease the Miles Morales game because it ends with Miles and Peter finally training.
Yeah, but writing of the DLC aside, how they handled Yuri in this DLC was intense. And
Yeah, no,
it sets
that
up
was
it sets up her role in Spider-Man 2 really well. So
so. In
it did
terms of
its
the main,
job.
in terms of the main story, I really like the main story. The City That Never Sleeps. Eh.
Yeah, the
It
main
started
plot
off
is
really good, but then it just
yeah.
got like less good, and then just got boring.
If I'm honest, so Screwball kind of ruined it for me.
No, the third DLC finally being able to, take her down was satisfying.
That's
But
true.
yeah, the main plot of this game is one of the best Spider-Man stories we've ever gotten in external media.
Oh, for
No,
sure.
as much as I like a lot of the live action movies, none of them compare to this.
Not even close, dude. Like you feel for this Spider-Man more than any other adaptation, I think.
And it also helps
yeah.
that Yuri Lowenthal is one of the best Spider-Man voice actors we've ever gotten.
Oh my
He's-
god! Can we talk about the voice acting in
Yeah,
general for a second?
the voice cast and the
really
voice acting
fucking
in this
good.
game is S tier. It's so good.
Like, all of them: Mary Jane, Peter, Miles, Doc Ock, Mister Negative,
Yeah.
the other villains, whatever. But
Oh yeah,
it,
fun little fact about the voice cast. The guy who voices Vulture was brought back from the first Raimi movie game.
and then isn't Josh Keaton Electro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Return the Spider-Man from Spectacular is voicing Electro in this game.
That's actually really cool. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Because this
So
is
freaking
leagues and
cool.
bounds above every other Spider-Man game that's come before.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we mentioned this, I think, in our Amazing Spider-Man, how those were just basically copy-paste Arkham Asylum.
Yeah.
This, while still having a similar combat system, feels like a Spider-Man combat system.
Because to quote what I
Yeah.
said during that video, I thought that the Arkham style would work for Spider-Man. They would just need to stylize it more. That's what they did here because Batman and Spider-Man don't fight the same. Batman is a martial artist through and through. So having those situations where he's standing in the middle of like 20 guys and he's just slinging them around like rag dolls is very Batman. But that's not how Spider-Man works.
Spider-Man would bounce
in this
around,
game,
use his
yeah,
webs.
he's
Yeah,
flinging himself
Spidey's
across
going
the arena.
all over the place.
Yeah, he's
He's
flinging
going all
himself
over the
across the
place, taking
arena.
these guys
He's
down,
webbing
tying
people
them
to
up to the
walls.
ceiling.
Yeah, like throwing stuff at them from like 10 yards away and everything.
And the craziest part is you would think it'd be hard to follow, and it's not.
No. I mean, that helps when you get into a fight. The camera actually pulls back some so you have a bigger area of vision during combat, which is very helpful.
Yeah, and there's a lot of options, and I think we mentioned this. He doesn't have a counter in this game; he has a dodge, which feels more like Spider-Man
Yeah.
than having a counter button.
Yeah.
Yeah. Counter makes sense for Batman, but a dodge makes sense for Spider-Man.
Yep, and you can incorporate your webbing. You can throw car doors at people.
Manhole covers.
Yeah. You could grab people with your webs, yank them up, and then slam them back down.
It also helps that his gadgets in this game are ridiculous.
Yeah, he's got regular web shooters. He's got impact web, electric web.
Yeah, which is honestly one of the
Web
more broken
bombs.
ones.
Trip mines, gravity webs.
The gravity well doesn't make any sense, but it's funny when you abuse it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. And there's not just that. The web swinging is phenomenal in this game.
Whole
So much fun.
traversal system. Is
Oh
great.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Like the pinpoint web zip, the point launch, the way he can like run around corners of buildings smoothly. He can
Oh, the
fling himself.
parkour is perfect.
Oh yeah, like there's even just a button for you to have him just run over stuff when he gets near them and just keep like you can keep your momentum forward so easily in this game. Like it's a spectacle when you get it down.
Yeah, it's great. And is everyone here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Because it got really quiet. I was concerned. I was like, "What's going on?"
I was waiting for you to keep going.
He doesn't actually take fall damage in this game, so you could just superhero land and nothing will happen.
You know, there's
Yeah.
a part of me that's sad about that because that's one of the funniest things about Spider-Man 2.
He just splats and dies. Also, there's a lot of collectibles. Like there are landmark tokens, there are photo ops, there are backpacks. There are radio police towers you got to fix.
Yeah.
There's
I'm glad that a lot of these things have actual value because these tokens are used to upgrade his gear or his gadgets and to unlock suit mods, which are like passives you can install and unlock
And
costumes. And
the
there's a ton
amount
of costumes.
there are so many costumes.
So many.
And surprisingly, there was only 2 in the entire game that I had never seen before.
That's actually impressive.
The Ghost Rider one was completely new to me.
I never seen that one.
The funny thing is, after I saw that costume, I had to look up where that was from. That character didn't even show up in a Spider-Man book. He showed up in a Hulk book.
What the okay.
That's what I was confused about too.
All right, you do you guys.
Yeah.
But there's one major suit that's not in here, and I understand why.
Yeah, now we understand why.
And you guys, I'm not going to go over it. You all know what I'm talking. But
every movie is represented in the costumes too. Thank God.
I think except Amazing 2.
Except Amazing Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Yeah, it makes it, but I think Amazing Spider-Man 1's costume is more unique, so it deserved to be in here, and it looks great.
All of them look good, dude. They have all the MCU suits that I can think.
Yeah, they do.
Oh,
And
they got
it has my favorite rendition of the comic Iron Spider suit because it has like repulsors on his hands and feet and the arc reactor in the chest and everything.
It looks really cool.
It looks great.
There are 2 villains that are only fought in side quests, and that's Tombstone and Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Taskmaster just kind of jumps you.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up about Screwball!
The funny thing about Taskmaster is that he actually, I didn't know this until a few days ago, actually, when someone on the subreddit for this game brought it up. But he actually gets harder the more versatile you are in the Taskmaster quests.
Really?
Like, the more of like his takedowns and gadgets that you use, he picks up on them and uses them himself, because that's what Taskmaster's skill is. He has a photographic memory where if he sees somebody do something, he can immediately replicate it. That's what his gimmick is.
That's legitimately impressive.
And during those Taskmaster sequences, he's actually watching you. You can find him like looking over the areas during the Taskmaster missions. And when you get close enough to him, he poofs away. So he's actually watching you, and then when he jumps you, he does what you do and what he watches you do. So you can actually make the fight harder by doing more of Spider-Man's abilities, which is kind of neat.
He's got to throw stuff at him. He can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Just do really bad at all of his missions.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you can actually do that just by not doing anything special during the missions. He's probably going to get easier. But the
Yeah.
funniest way, the best way to fight him is to yeah, it's just
Make it look like working gives him like special defense, but it doesn't.
Oh, shit.
But then the fight becomes a joke when you fall down to the street, and then you have like 7 newspaper stands and like 8 manhole covers to throw at him, and he's just getting pelted against the side of a building continuously.
That's right.
Screw you, Taskmaster.
Also, there are sections in the game where you play as Peter Parker, and you just kind of walk and talk to people.
Except for this one section of the DLC where you can swing around in Peter's street clothes.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
And then there are stealth sections with Mary Jane and Miles Morales, which...
The first time they were fine. On replay, I wish I could skip them.
And the puzzles, they were just kind of whatever.
Well, I mean, luckily those have an autocomplete option in the menu.
Yeah. I did them legitimately my first playthrough.
Some of those actually get really tough.
But on subsequent playthroughs, I was just like, you know what? Skip.
Yeah.
I'm glad they give you the option.
Yeah.
And it doesn't affect anything. You can just skip them and you.
Yeah, no, you
nothing.
just get the rewards for doing nothing.
I've never actually skipped any of them.
I didn't my first playthrough.
Yeah. The first time I wanted to experience everything full on, and man, those things get tough after a while.
Yeah, they do, actually.
But on replays, I was like, no, just give me my research tokens, please.
The graphics in this game are nuts.
Yeah.
They are crazy.
Especially if you play the remaster version on the PS5, which adds ray tracing and 60 FPS. Oh, God.
I'll get to the remaster in a second because there's controversy there.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. But the spot, like the web swinging, the fighting, the suits, all the character models. For once in a Spider-Man game, all the character models, every single one.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't happen.
All the character models are what?
They all look good for once.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because that never happens in Spider-Man games.
Gone are the days of Spider-Man 3's Gmod style. Thank God.
I'm gonna die. Yeah, but Jesus Christ.
So I think the cutscenes were mocapped.
They had to be. They were, because most of the actors look like the voice actors look like their characters, except for I think Peter and MJ are modeled after different people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, let's talk about the controversy. In Spider-Man PS4, Peter looked different than he does in every other game in the series. I, to this day, don't know why they recast the character for the remaster, but they did. And if I'm honest, it doesn't really bother me in the slightest.
It was a little bit
Me
jarring
neither.
because I thought in the PS4 version he looked perfect as Peter Parker, but then it felt like that they were trying too hard to make him look like Tom Holland in the remaster.
Yeah, that's what I saw people complaining about.
But honestly, it's grown on me a little bit, and how he looks so far in the Spider-Man 2 trailers, it looks like they made him look a little older.
Because this is clearly the actor they're keeping, so
yeah,
might as well just get used to him.
Yeah.
But honestly, it affects the game not at all.
Yeah, it's just a little bit jarring at first, but it's...
If you started with the remaster, you won't even think about it.
Yeah.
Like Dan here.
I didn't. I started with the remaster. So
yeah.
So like, if he started with that face, nobody would have said a word, right?
Yeah.
But it is what it is. The soundtrack's pretty good.
Oh, boy.
awesome.
It helps that the OST was done by somebody who has a history in making songs for TV shows and movies.
Oh, see, there you go.
Yeah, have you ever watched the Netflix Daredevil show?
Yes, I have.
Same Same composer.
Oh shit!
I'm not even joking. It's the same
That's
composer.
incredible,
Awesome.
actually.
And the Daredevil Netflix intro theme was so good, and it's the
It
same guy.
really is, though.
It's awesome.
Now, before we talk about our final verdicts, I want to talk about a couple of things leading into the sequel.
Yes.
So let's get this out of the way right now. Who do we think Venom is?
Harry.
Harry Osborn.
Harry Osborn.
Yeah.
Has to be.
I'm gonna laugh when it's not.
I swear to God, if it's Jason Todd again.
It's Jason Todd. See, because at first, so for those of you who don't, if you don't know by now, the main antagonist of the sequel is Venom. Okay.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
And when the game was announced, I thought it was Eddie Brock. Because of course I did.
Well, because it was kind of, I was like, it's always going to be Eddie Brock, right?
And they're straight up like, it's not Eddie Brock. So, oh.
I mean, I said this when they kind of hinted at it being Harry. Insomniac, I think after the writing in this game and in Miles's game, that they've earned the right to get a little bit daring with their characters and storytelling and everything.
No, I trust them.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
They know how to write Spider-Man better than the people in charge of the comics right now. I'm looking at you, Zeb Wells, you moron.
They know how to write Spider-Man better than the comics and the movies. So,
yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be Venom, or Venom's going to be Harry Osborn.
Venom is going to be Venom. Holy crap!
I know, it's crazy.
Momentum.
Shut up!
Who invited Eminent?
Oh god. But I also think that they are going to. If I were a betting man, if they don't do it this way, they don't know what they're doing. Norman had better become Green Goblin for the third game.
Yeah, he will.
Nah, honestly, I think Screwball should be Green Goblin.
I am kicking you from this fucking review. You are now banned.
Just imagine we see the glider lower from the top of the screen, and Spidey's like, "It's you, I knew it," and she's just on the glider. Everybody would rage. Huh?
Instead of throwing pumpkin bombs, it's photo bombs. So
she planted bombs everywhere.
Oh god! I think everyone would just give up on gaming at that point.
That's it. I quit.
Honestly, what I think would be really funny is if Screwball did show up on a glider shouting "photobomb," and you think, "Wait, is she the Green Goblin?" I fucking hate this. But then, bam, the real Green Goblin comes out of nowhere and just kills her, impales her on his glider, and then she's gone forever.
She would find one of his goblin hideouts and hijack a glider. That sounds like something she would do.
I hate this. Now back to the serious conversation. This is one of the best superhero games, hands down.
Oh yeah.
I think the only game on par with it is maybe Arkham City.
That's the closest one, yeah.
And Miles, but that's kind of cheating.
Yeah,
I really like Miles Morales.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
Miles Morales is a great game, but we'll talk about that next time. In my opinion, this is the best Spider-Man game we've had so far. My feeling is that it'll be surpassed in 2 months.
I'm hoping it does.
It has no reason not to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But as of this moment, this is one of my favorite gaming experiences I've had in a long time. Well, you just started gaming. Shut up.
The story being as engrossing as it was, the gameplay being is just as solid as it is. Man, if this is the game that I would answer the question of if you could forget experiences with a game and play a game for the first time again, what would it be? It would be this one.
This one would be up there for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, because I've known you both for a long time, Patrick, you especially.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen either of you ever as engrossed in a game as you were in this one.
Well, you weren't
Yeah,
around
this-
when I was
it
playing
was an
Sonic
awesome
Mania
game
for the
experience.
first time.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah.
Sonic Mania probably, yeah. But
Yeah.
oh, Dan, I know for sure for you, this is. If I were to guess, Dan, and I could be wrong, this is probably your favorite video game that you've ever.
It's up there. Top 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's up there for me too, just because. I mean, Frankie knows this, but like this character is like he means a lot to me personally. So this game being as good as it was, with having a story as good as it was, like it was almost like this game was made for me.
Look,
I
Spider-Man's
feel-
my
I
favorite
feel
superhero
similar.
since I was. Spider-Man was my favorite superhero since I was a kid. So to finally have a game that's this high quality of him, it feels good, man.
Yeah.
Feels awesome.
I don't have a whole lot of gripes with this game, except maybe the stealth sections.
The only two gripes I can really have is, of course, the biggest gripe would be the Miles and MJ sections, which they're not terrible. They just on replays bog the pacing down a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the second one would mostly be due to console limitations, and that's, as much as I love the web swinging, it is a bit too slow for me at times. But they admitted that was because of PS4 console limitations.
And that's probably going to end up being fixed
No,
in Spider-Man
they
2.
openly admitted in interviews that pretty much the entire map is going to load at once.
Holy shit.
Pete and Miles' overall movement speed have basically been doubled.
Jesus!
So
Oh my God.
we're going to be getting some serious speed in the sequel.
I'm ready.
Because if you've ever tried to move faster than the game intends you to, you hit loading zones in this game.
Oh, wow.
I've done it before.
Oh.
You just
I
hit
like
because the game kind of loads the city in segments. Like when you get to a certain point of the city, it deloads stuff behind you and loads in segments in front of you. So it seems seamless. But if you move too fast, you'll hit a loading zone and you'll get like these really low quality buildings and they kind of like all like load in front of you while the game is frozen for a second.
That's something I think the PS5 version almost fixes.
Well, no, the PS5 version loads the whole map. So
The PS,
Oh, yeah,
if you
I
want to
didn't
play
have
this
any
game,
problems.
yeah,
play the PS5 version.
Yeah,
I didn't have any problems with loading maps or anything. So
Because it doesn't exist on the PS5 version.
Yeah, I know. It was weird playing the PS5 version for the first time and not seeing the loading screen.
Dude, the first time I played the PS5 version, I was just like, what? You know, if you're going to play this, play the remaster, please.
Yeah. Especially seeing how they finally released it outside of the Miles bundle.
That took way too long.
It took like 3 years for them to release it on its own. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, because I my first PS5 game was the Ultimate Edition, so I had it, but there was no reason to lock it behind.
No.
And now we wait for the sequel.
We still have one more game to talk about.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
What's that?
Miles.
Oh, I thought you meant in this video.
No. I was like, we still got one more game to talk about.
Oh no, we still. I know that. But I thought you meant this video. We still have more to talk about. No, I think we're done here.
Well, we could talk about the PC version real quick and how crazy the modding community has gotten for that game.
I've seen Shrek swinging in that game, and
I've seen a lot of Black Cat mods.
Oh yeah, there's been a ton of Black
I've
Cat
seen
mods because of course there is.
I mean, of course, why wouldn't there be?
But I've seen people do some legitimately sick stuff. Like someone actually did a mod where they imported the Spider-Man 2000 model and gave it all and modded it to all the animations of this game, and it looks weird. seeing that model be as flexible as it is.
That reminds me of in Mario Odyssey.
Oh yeah, we got the Mario
model.
64 model. Yeah, it was
That's
weird
actually pretty
seeing
cool.
that model be flexible like that when it was so stiff in Mario 64.
Spider-Man suit model looks awesome.
Oh yeah, they even mimicked the art style and everything. It clashed so badly, but it looked good.
I wish the animated cartoon suits were in the game, honestly.
Well, the funny thing is that in Miles, he does get the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon.
Yeah, that
style
is, and
costume.
the Spider-Verse suit is in this game, but I kind of wish like Spectacular suit was in here, the '90s show suit was in here, maybe Spider-Man Unlimited,
A 90s animated series suit would have been pretty sick.
and maybe Spider-Man Unlimited. That would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, why wasn't that suit? That's one of the suits that people modded in the PC version. I'm shocked that suit didn't get in this game.
Yeah, if you only have a PC, I've heard it runs just fine. I don't know much about it.
I mean, it's the PS5 version, but you got your PC, so it probably runs even better.
Oh, I mean, you could say that, but then look at the left says disastrous launch. So, play this game if you have not. I don't know what you're doing.
Get a PlayStation just for this game.
Yeah?
Specifically the 5, because you're going to need it for the sequel.
You might as well just get a 5 and just get every game on the PS5, because the entire series is on PS5. So, anywho, I mean, if you're going to buy a PlayStation now, why would you even get a 4? Just go get a 5.
Yeah.
Because the 4's cheap now.
Yeah, but, like, no. That's like getting a Wii U now that the Switch is out. Just don't. But
let me get a Wii U while all of its online services are dead.
Yeah. That console was.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what was the point of the Wii U?
Dude, that we could do a whole video about that.
Was the response to fail? Was the point of the Wii U to fail? Because it did.
It's Nintendo's Sega Saturn, honestly.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's a great description, actually.
But now that we've gone on like 8,000 tangents,
yeah,
I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and next time we will be reviewing Spider-Man Miles Morales. So until then, take care.
Bye.